This time out on the show, we're going to do things a little differently. In previous episodes, we've talked to individual business owners, and while today that's still true, we're not actually going to talk about his business at all. We'll get to all that later. Let's start with some introductions.
My name's Lee Wilkes, Councillor Lee Wilkes. I've been on Raunds Town Council since 2015. So in fact, just coming to the end of my first term with the elections coming up in May. And I happen to be the Deputy Mayor as well at the moment for this current year.
Yeah, in addition to running his own business, a virtual training business as it happens, which seems like a pretty good line of work to be in right now, Lee actually sits on the town council for Raunds and has enjoyed his first term. It was a role he put himself forward for a very clear reason.
I looked at what councils were doing generally and thought we could do it better. I mean, that's without saying, and I think that's the reason a lot of councillors get into it. They look at what is being done. That's not to say that what's being done is bad, but I think people look at their particular local council and think, we can improve upon it with an extra pair of hands or an extra set of eyes or some extra ideas. We can improve on what we've got.
In spring 2020, as the pandemic shut down the country for the first time, that remit to make things better for his local community got Lee thinking about how the council could work with local businesses to help them keep doing their work in spite of the nationwide shutdown. As it was, this pretty unprecedented set of circumstances ended up bringing a pretty exciting opportunity to the top of his to-do list. Raunds is only a small town. It's only got 10,000 people living there, but in a place that small, it only takes a few dedicated folks in the right place to make a massive difference. Today we find out how the town launched a new app to connect its residents and keep its businesses moving. This is Recovery Through Enterprise, a podcast where we meet some of the amazing small and medium-sized businesses across the East Northants region that call the Nen Valley home. Be sure to find out more on the Recovery Through Enterprise project by visiting our website at recoverythroughenterprise.co.uk or look up the dedicated Recovery Through Enterprise pages on LinkedIn and Facebook. For now though, welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us. As Lee and his fellow councillors took office then a few years ago, they immediately got to work with their most important priorities.
When the council first got elected, when this particular group of councillors first got elected 6 years ago now, there were a number of things that we wanted to achieve, a number of things that we looked at what had happened that had happened previously and wanted to improve upon. So one of them was communication with the public, because there are always different and more modern ways of communicating. But a big part of what we wanted to achieve was trying to support businesses. Little did we know, of course, then that we would be entering a global pandemic and they would need all the support that they could get, even more than they used to do.
And it's worth noting that for its size, Raunds is a hell of an industrious little town. While visitors will know the town and the high street shops available, there's a whole other ecosystem of businesses locally that have been experiencing their own share of pain this last year.
And of course, when we're talking about businesses, I don't just mean the high street. The high street has been impacted clearly at the moment. But there are businesses. So we were told at one stage that there are 1,000 businesses in Raunds, 1,000 businesses. There's only a population of 10,000. So the vast majority of those businesses, of course, are home-based. Or their virtual businesses, they're online. So we wanted to try and do something to make sure that we could support them.
One of the great things about technology is the silver bullet it presents in lots of situations. Elegant solutions that can keep multiple stakeholders happy at the flick of a switch. The development of the Town app was exactly one of these kind of opportunities.
It became apparent 12 months maybe ago that one of the things that we could potentially do was develop an app. So develop an app that we could try and convince the 10,000 people of Raunds to download onto their phones or laptops that would help the businesses share the offers that they got on.
The genesis of the idea couldn't have come at a better time, with businesses having to adapt to the first national lockdown.
Primarily, of course, Ben, what we're thinking is they do click and collect. They've got to close most of these shops, and they are unbelievably adaptable people. So they've adapted into click and collect. But how on earth do they let people know that? Because from the face of it, you would walk past the shop and think it was closed, because it is. Sure. So we thought, okay, this app could help them.
Everyone loves apps. You love them, I've got a phone full of them, and the appetite for them has grown since the proliferation of the smartphone. If anyone's ever investigated making one though, and I have with a few clients over the years, it's not a straightforward process.
There are two options. We develop it from scratch, that requires two things: big budget and experience in developing an app. We don't want to spend money where we don't have to, and we don't have the experience really in developing. Sure. So we found a great company based in Ireland, I think actually, and what they have is an app that can be adapted specifically for local councils.
Okay.
And so we bought into that, a really cost-effective way of doing it.
The other distinct advantage of this white label approach is that it enabled the council to move quickly, providing a way of connecting businesses in the local communities in a matter of weeks rather than months.
So what does it do? It enables, at a really basic level, it enables the public to be able to get access to information that otherwise they would struggle with. Nothing to do with businesses now. So information on the council, when the meetings are, what events are coming up. But from a business perspective, we allow every business to promote themselves on. It's all free at both ends, free for the public to download and free for the business. They can put special offers on there, but really importantly, they can advertise if they are still open during the shutdown and whether they offer click and collect. So it just means that the public can instantly see, well, the greengrocers is open for click and collect, or the vape shop is open.
With the app taking shape, it was time for the council to begin the process of launching and promoting it to the community locally. What they found in doing so was that this exercise also helped to uncover even more businesses that had previously been hidden away in plain sight.
It's a huge range. So just to repeat myself from earlier, we have sent out a leaflet to every single household to say, firstly, will you download the app? But secondly, if you run a business that we aren't aware of, because it's online or it's run from home, you've got to let us know, because we wouldn't know them otherwise. And every day we are getting more businesses added.
Over the weeks and months that passed since, the app has continued to grow in size and importance locally as more and more people download the app, and crucially, more and more businesses sign up to be a part of it.
But there are, there is the local estate agents are on there, cafes, restaurants, takeaways are on there, hairdressers with some special offers, the local DIY shop is on there with some special offers. But then there's plumbers on there, there's electricians, there are people selling crafts, there are companies that are purely online businesses. So they're all advertising. I've got no idea what the current number is, but I know that we are daily getting new people adding. So it's an ever-growing beast, really.
So far, all signs point to the launch of the app being a big success. The reaction locally was swift.
It is early days, but the feedback was instant. We managed to promote it, quite well, and with the help of people like you, then actually it'll get out there even more. So the businesses are certainly being found and finding it useful. We're getting really good feedback, we're getting great feedback from the public, who are saying things like, I had no idea that this type of business was in Raunds. I would have gone to Rushden, I would have gone to Northampton.
One of those local people finding a new business through the app? Lee himself.
We had need for to have a cake made for a celebration, a birthday that we were having, and actually the company that I found to make the cake, I found through the app.
Any app that ends up with someone delivering a cake sounds like a slam dunk winner to me, but I wondered whether the team behind the app felt it had been a success in its aims. For some apps that launch, the name of the game is global domination. They want to be on everyone's handset and at the top of the App Store charts. But this app wasn't about that. Its whole value lay in its smaller, hyper-localised focus. At the time of recording, the app had just over 1,000 downloads.
That's when you think in a town of 10,000 people, actually, 1,000 downloads, when you think there might be only one app per household, actually, that's an incredible penetration already.
Isn't it marvellous? Isn't it absolutely great? And of course, that's the real panacea, the real dream for us here, is that every single business that's based in Raunds is listed, and every single resident has downloaded it and is finding it useful. If we could achieve that, it would be a great thing.
Pablo Picasso said computers are useless, they can give you only answers. But sometimes, like in a global pandemic, answers are exactly what you're looking for. In embracing technology and helping to connect the businesses and communities of Raunds in the way it has this last year, the MyTown app was exactly the answer people were looking for. If you're in Raunds or nearby and want to find your own new favourite local business, Look for the Raunds Town app in your app store now. Recovery Through Enterprise is a programme of support and assistance for businesses across the East Northamptonshire region. Be sure to check out the website at recoverythroughenterprise.co.uk or find out more by connecting with our dedicated Facebook and LinkedIn pages at Recovery Through Enterprise. In the meantime, be sure to check out the rest of the Recovery Through Enterprise podcast series to find out more about some of the amazing small and medium-sized businesses we've met along the way, and subscribe to the show in your podcast app of choice for future episodes. In the meantime, thanks for joining us. It was great to see you. This podcast was a production of So Very Creative in Northampton. You can find out more information on our website at soverycreative.com. Next time on Recovery Through Enterprise.
For the Market Square Bakery, I would say, yes, the changes have been welcomed, and the deadline meant that we did them quicker. Has that benefited the business? Yes, but on the flip side, we had a lot of customers, wholesale customers, coffee shops, garden centres, who have had to close.
Sure.
So we lost out on that front, but we gained on other fronts. And had it not been for these changes and the acceleration of them, then, it would have been a very difficult period. But as it happens, we are probably one of the success stories.
The COVID pandemic has forced many businesses to look at ways to improve and innovate this last year. Find out how Taz and the team at the Market Square Bakery got a turbocharged jump on their to-do list next time.